In our ecosystem, though, so PulseChain, as per usual, now that we're streaming, we got a little bit of a pullback. Usually happens every time we go on the air. But hey, it's been a bullish last couple of days. I had a strange feeling, as many I'm sure did, when RH started tweeting a couple things the other night. People seem to get bullish, and all of a sudden we start charging up. So Pulse was at that. Obviously, we've been above the SAC rate, but 3 zeros and 1 the other day. Now we were up at that 13 number, dipped below it here just over the last hour or so. But Pulse X, yet again, just like it did the last time when we ran up, running harder than mostly everything else other than like incentive token. And some of the memes. But it's 50% discount still from the SAC rate. As hard as it has run, it's still at a 50% discount from sacrifice rate. So yeah, you right here, right now can get a better buy than those of us who may have sacrificed 2 years ago for tokens. So there you go. Combined hexes, as I mentioned earlier, about 2.6 cents right now. So looking good, still bullish. I don't know if you wanted to pull up the PulseChain chart, probably be the best one to look at if you just want to look at daily or weekly there, and we'll just kind of size it up. But man, things are looking bullish all across right now. We're on the verge. Tomorrow is January 31st. We're going to have a monthly close where presumably this whole ecosystem is going to be closing with its best month in its history. So that is great to hear. So it looks like we got the weekly.
Yeah, it's a weekly candle. Is that good? You want to look at the daily?
Why don't we just go to the daily for a moment? But there we go. Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like, we've really found support. I mean, this is the thing we've talked about the last few weeks, but like, will we see that oscillation around the SAC rate for a few weeks? How will it be? So far, I think the jury's kind of still out, but we've seen it as support. I mean, we've seen it dip that there. You see that one mini wick down there where it did kind of go below it. Yep. I remember that morning looking at that, but since then, man, we have just sprung right off that. Yeah.
And something else that I've noticed too is when RH does put out some tweets, especially of charts, it's almost like he's predicting the future. And beware for the magic carpet ride. So if you're got some money on the sidelines, you might not want to wait very long.
Many people liked my comment, and I saw some comments in our video this week. Many people like my comparison to analyzing his tweets like I would Pink Floyd or Tool lyrics back in the day when I was getting into those bands and late at night doing some lyric reading and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, with Richard Hart tweets, you always have to look a little bit deeper into them, and there's usually something possibly around the corner, or it may just be a self-fulfilling prophecy too. It's just like he tweets, people get bullish and starts buying. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that the chart's looking fantastic. I think we're on the verge of really breaking out here. And I mean, where do we go next level? I mean, like the all-time high is about 2.5x over the SAC rate, or I guess it'd be 1.5, whatever, 3 zeros and a 2.5 or something like that.
Well, I think we get held up at this. I think we get double the SAC rate, and I think we get held up a little bit. I think
that looks right.
Yeah, it's right in this area. You've got some original support, or it tested this, dropped, kind of tried to get back up there, and just bottomed there. So I think that magic number of double the SAC rate, I still think you're going to see some bigger wallets exiting at that point. Hopefully that becomes our resistance, and then once we flush those out, we can get it to turn to support, moving right on up then after that. But that's where I think we'll kind of get hung up. I think we're going to trickle a little bit. In the meantime, I don't think it's going to do a straight rocket right there, but I think that's our next major level of resistance.
Yeah, we may still have a little bit of time here to DCA into stuff, but I mean, it's really running out. I mean, we've talked about like leverage on these tokens over the last few weeks. We've talked about obviously PDI just hit new all-time highs, which is pretty interesting. Teddy Bear, HOA, just some of the kind of meme tokens on PulseChain that may return us a good investment on Pulse. We've talked about ICOSA, which, my God, I mean, like, it still technically is undervalued when you compare it to Hex, but it's just run up so hard. I'm at like a 9x off of the buy I made on the Pulse version at 3 cents. And crazily enough, man, I don't know if you've checked those charts recently, Ewok, but ICOSA is just about at parity. I mean, the ICOSA is pretty much right there.
Let's take a look at it. I can pull
Yeah,
it up.
we'll take a look at that real quick before we wrap up here. But there's just so much opportunity. Like we're in the place now where, you know, the thought process over the last
Hang
6
on. Did you
months.
say the Ethereum side?
Yeah, you can pull up the ICOSA if you want to. I mean, we could look at both if you want, but
No, I don't have it saved on this one, but I can.
But I mean, you know, the ethos kind of the last 6 months was just like, okay, everything you can DCA into Pulse X and Hex, like just bam, 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 real easy, you know, being careful, not wanting to go anywhere else, also being afraid of catching a falling knife. Now it's almost like, oh my God, I might get distracted by all the things I want to buy. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
things are bullish, things are going up, but just make sure, you know, not advice to anybody else, but what we do personally is I still have somewhat of a tunnel vision. And like we talked about with Frank tonight, having a long-term view. So don't get so distracted that you're getting into dangerous stuff. But luckily, time-wise, it's almost like you can still get into something dangerous accidentally right now, and you'll still be okay, as long as it's not too much money, because we're right at the beginning of this whole thing, I think, taking off. So
yeah, we're about a 10x from the bottom levels back here in October. About a 10x from where we are right now.
yeah,
1100%, 11x, 1113%.
And this is ICOSA on ETH.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is versus USDC pair. I didn't pull up the ICOSA hex pair, but
that's all right. Still, I mean, you can see dollar-wise where it's gone. I mean, it's just, you know, it's exciting to see what Alex McWhorter does have in store for ICOSA and Hedron. Kind of combining them together is going to be really interesting. I did not even know that he has a like PulseChain node warehouse laboratory type deal set up. Did you know this?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, Sami was. I must have missed all that, but he showed a video of it or something this week, and Alex just showing everything he has going on. It is so fucking cool. It is so cool looking.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I knew he had bought the space. I knew he had it. When I saw it, it was a bare shell. So I haven't seen anything recently, but I knew he was putting one together. It was pretty cool. So there's something recent that Sami.
I don't know when it was. I don't know when it was from. It could have been very well what you did see, but he was getting stuff installed. He had some things going on, but was still working on it. So
gotcha. I'll have to look for it.
Yeah. So even though that guy might be a little quiet on Twitter right now, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So,
very cool.
Yeah, hard not to feel bullish after a stream like tonight. And great having Frank on.